Footbap Nation!
Let's ride!
Oh, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Fantasy Footbaps podcast. I'm B Dizzle, and I'm joined by my co-host Paul. Paul, say what up.
Oh, hey, everybody.
Hey, we got week one in the books. Things are going crazy in the league already. Not really. This week kind of sucked for offense, but we're going to go through all the games for you guys, the recent activity, next week's matchups, all the good stuff. Paul, are you ready to get on into this?
I am.
All right. First matchup that we're going to look at is the classic week one, me versus Paul. Remember for a while there, or maybe when we added, there was one point where the schedule changed where we didn't play week one 1 year, I'm pretty sure.
Was it last year? Or maybe 2 years ago?
It might have been 2 years ago. It may have been 2 years ago. Either way, to no surprise, Paul beats me week one. Even though I did beat you last year, I'm about to real quick. Paul, walk us through what happened in our matchup real quick while I pull up our league history and see how many times you beat me week one in that league.
So we had the Thursday night matchup of AJ Brown versus Christian Watson.
I can't believe Christian Watson caught that bullshit touchdown.
Well, he had like 4 red zone targets. It was just some bad passes. He was bound to get one. So that's how he worked last year. He's like a touchdown merchant. It's touchdown or bust pretty much for him.
I always thought of him as a big play guy. I never even thought of him as a red zone guy.
Well, I don't know what's different maybe this year, but I just know he had like 4. I was watching the game and like counting them. So I was like, all right, boost my confidence a little bit because it wasn't looking good. And he got one of them at least. But there's at least 4, 3 for sure. But AJ Brown had a good game. So I was like projected to lose maybe by like 5. And then the rest of the games happened and no offense happened for damn near every player in the league. So, got the dub through Josh Allen and Cooper Kupp pretty much. Everyone else didn't really matter.
Yeah, it did go how I said, though, that Sunday night with Detroit and the Rams playing against each other in like a 53-point over-under. I was like, I'm fucked. But I almost had a chance there for a while because at halftime, I think Kyler had like 12 points and Josh Allen had maybe like 5 or something.
Yeah, you had a piss class going.
I will say, I've noticed there are certain people in our league. I don't know if you're more like all over the place, but like Kyle is one of those people who I notice he gets nothing from his guys in the first half and he gets everything in the second half. I'm the opposite of Kyle. I get all my shit in the first half and then nothing in the second half. I don't really know like how that happens. Chuba Hubbard got me 1 point. I don't know if you saw any of that game, but it was 17-0 with like 8 minutes left in the first or something. So they basically just like didn't run the football the entire rest of the their first drive. He had like 3 carries for 14 yards and the run game looked good. And then second drive, because I think Bryce's first pass of the year was an interception, but yeah, it was a complete disaster.
Yeah, that game was just hard to watch. But the real turning point was when ETN fumbled a foot away from the end zone.
Yeah, ETN fumbled on the 1. So that was an 8-point swing. But I'm kind of glad, I would have liked to score more points, but I'm glad not starting Xavier Worthy didn't end up mattering. And even if I do the math where I start Worthy, like I'd still only be at 94 points. And then even if ETN did score that, I would have lost by 2, and that probably would have been way shittier. Although I would have liked to score more points. But I also called Ayuk not having a good game against the Jets defense, although he had opportunities to do good. It just didn't pull through. I also was considering playing Tua over Kyler Murray, but again, it wouldn't have mattered anyways. But he did outscore him. So that was
also
interesting.
The Bengals only having 4 points against the Patriots, who had like 80 passing yards, is a little insane too.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I think the Bengals might have the worst run defense in the NFL. After watching that game, it was unlucky. They only got 4 points against New England, but it was almost lucky because it could have been so much worse. Worst part about that though is if we go to the draft recap, I was going to pick the Saints defense, and then Mike got them the pick before me, and they got 16 points, and the Bengals got 4. So Mike snagged that for me. That hurts. A lot of things, could have gone differently, but I mean, I'm happy that Worthy looked good. Brian Thomas looks good. I'm kind of happy the Bengals looked like shit, because that makes me think that they're like, Chase Brown didn't play a lot. He played maybe like 40% of the snaps, but like, the fact that the Bengals offense was so bad and Zach Moss dropped passes and wasn't very explosive makes me think that they're going to use Chase Brown more.
I hope so.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens there, but it's kind of funny with Chuba doing so bad. I mean, at this point, I just I don't want to start Chuba unless I have to. The crazy thing though is I got Chuba in the 11th round, which felt like a good pick at the time, because it was like, a starting running back in the 11th round. And not that there were any other better running back options, but I'm like, I can't believe that backfired that badly. That was just crazy. And then, yeah, I was between Chuba and Shaheed, but I was like, how can I pass up a starting running back? And then obviously Shaheed went off also. But let's go through real quick. So Paul beats me by 30. And we're going to go through the history. Oh, apparently in 2017, I beat you week 1. So that's 1-0 me. You beat me by 100 points the next season in week 1.
I remember that.
So now 1-1. The next year you beat me. So you're 2-1. The year after that, apparently we didn't play in the first week. The year after that, I wonder if we played
one year
week
was like
2.
a 2-point win. I remember. Or
okay, we're gonna count this because it's week 2. So 3-1,
okay.
3-1 because we played week 2. 3-1 in week 1. Let's see. Apparently this must have been the one that we didn't play a week. So currently you're 3-1. Why did it feel like you were beating me in the first week so much more often? I guess it was just 4-2 now at this point. It must have just been because those first, the 1 year I beat you, but then the next 3 years it was you beat me week 1, then week 2, then week 1 or whatever. So I guess it just must have felt like it was happening often, but I feel like this was to no one's surprise. Or at least I wasn't really surprised. I usually go into week 1 assuming I'm gonna lose for the most part. This game was close. The box score shows close, but it wasn't that close. It was Chip beating Nick by 9 points, 100 to 91, or I guess 101 to 92. It was never really in question. It looked like Chip was gonna win 130 to 80. But CMC randomly doesn't play for Chip on Monday night, and then Debo scores 16 points on Monday night, and that was it made it look like it was closer than it was. But actually, looking back, that Ladd McConkey random touchdown actually might have been what saved Chip. But I mean, Nick gets unlucky here because Burrow only gets him 8. But I mean, also, Chip literally didn't have CMC play, so there's really nothing that. Yeah. But also, Nick only got 2 points from Amon-Ra, so I don't know. That's pretty unlucky from both of them.
But also the inevitable Jerome Ford touchdown, that final drive probably got him 10 points.
Yeah, Jerome Ford was on his way to an ass game, and then he accumulated 11 points on that one drive. That's Jerome Ford, though. I mean, this happened last year where it's classic. All game long, he's the worst running back you've ever seen in your life. And then you look at you look at fantasy afterwards, and he would have 10 to 16 points. It didn't make any sense. He never looked good. It never felt like he did anything, and he would just have points at the end. Actually absurd. It ended up not mattering because Ladd McConkey scored 12 points, but I was shocked that Chip played Ladd McConkey over Jaden Reed against the Philadelphia defense. That was crazy. Luckily Chip won, but I feel like that was an absurd decision there. I mean, he won anyways, but holy shit. Devon Achane goes off for Chip. I think he's injured now, but he's probably all right. Patrick Mahomes is just a weird fantasy quarterback, dude. He's the best quarterback in the NFL, but he almost never ends up ever since that one season. He's never been quarterback one since. I don't really know like what to think about that. Do you have any thoughts on Mahomes?
Well, he kind of got fat. I think that was his issue. He doesn't run as much as he he must have ran in the past. I don't really remember, but
No, he
that
threw
must have been
50
the key.
touchdowns in 2018.
Oh, okay.
So it was throwing 50 touchdowns is what did it for him.
Well, that helps then. Well, maybe he just got fat for no reason then. But just I don't know what it is either. Like he's always first quarterback off the board just because of his name, and he is good, but for fantasy, just not the best.
Yeah, it's like when you're. I just don't know how Josh Allen doesn't go as the first quarterback every season. Like he's going to be on like 4 straight years of QB1, and people refuse to take him as the first quarterback. It's fucking wild. Nick also lost David Njoku to injury. That kind of blows. Yeah, nothing else really to talk about here. Good win by Chip. You know, we don't want Nick to get off to a slow start again this year. Was it last year where Nick got to a slow start and then like came back and like was like
I don't know.
I'm about to here. I can look at.
But I just remember like I feel like any year, no matter what, in like the final 5 weeks and playoffs, he doesn't lose.
No, it was really 2022 where Nick's team won 2 games the entire year and then finished 7th place because he rattled off
the playoffs. Yeah,
he won all of those games and his team was doing legit good too. That's so fucking funny. All right,
closer.
Here we go, a game between Gorman and Austin. Gorman wins 80-70. This was a piss off. Caleb Williams gets Gorman 7. Gorman's defense gets -1. Oh my god, I didn't even realize. So I knew that Saquon had a lot of points. I didn't realize that Saquon was responsible for 40% of Gorman's points this week. 40%, almost half of his points were just Saquon. I mean, not only that, but if you think about it, it was Saquon and Aaron Jones. Like those two combined for 63% of Gorman's whole entire score. That's fucking wild. Austin had a kind of a week like me and like many others where it was like, you know, no one did. I mean, I guess Chuba did really bad, but like outside of that, it was like, he has a few guys in the double digits. I think I had like 4. It just doesn't matter when it's low double digits. And I don't know. This was a piss fest. Do you have anything to take away from the Gorman Austin matchup?
Not much. Just more, you know, big names not scoring a lot. Like Amari against Dallas. I mean, they have good defense, but the Browns just looked like absolute
Amari
shit.
also dropped a touchdown pass there.
And then Olave only having 2 points when they put up 47.
Yeah, that's kind of insane. Wild. That was wild. I was watching that game too, and I couldn't. It just didn't even make sense that Olave was doing that little. It was wild.
And Godwin looks great. Brian Robinson looks good. He's just gonna have tough calls to make every week, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, Washington has the worst pass defense in the NFL, so like I think anyone can.
So Baker's not good.
I don't know. I don't think he's bad, but Godwin, I think that like Daniel Jones, if Daniel Jones doesn't do good against Washington's defense next week, like they might have to actually just cut him, like because Washington's defense might be a historically bad passing defense. But yeah, no, I agree. I feel like Austin's team at this point, besides Brees, James Cook too. It sucks he lost Jordan Love, but outside of like Brees and James Cook, kind of like Moore, Flowers, Olave, Godwin, Robinson. Like I don't. Good luck trying to figure out who to start every week. Like I would be. I feel like you have to start Olave because you took him round 2. I feel like you have to start Moore because you probably took him decently high. I don't know though. Like how could you see what Godwin and Robinson did and not? You know, it's going to be tough. I have no idea who they play or anything, but
Austin has 3. Does he have 3 quarterbacks? Well, now he does. So spoiler, he has 3 quarterbacks on his roster now. He should work up some shop talk and maybe potentially trade for a better tight end or quarterback because he has 2 good bench spots. Well,
at this point, though, no one has a good tight end. I don't even know. Dallas Goedert. This was like a good tight end performance. 5 points. Yeah, I'm not even kidding. Like I don't even know if it's time to worry about that yet. It's fucking wild. But yeah, Gorman and Austin. Gorman gets a those wins are the ones that don't feel good, but also feel good. Winning 80-70 is like you're like, wow, I got spotted a win this week. That's really fucking lucky. Gorman's got to move on to this week, put it in the past, pretend like it was a good win, and get in the lab and cook up a good lineup this upcoming week. And then Austin, it hurts losing a close game like that, but also get back in the lab. Dave versus Steve, a West Coast rivalry. Historic rivalry, one of the most historic ones in Footbap history. Steve comes away with the win 118-75. Steve's team looked good. Anthony Richardson looked mid, but ends up with 26 points.
Like he had two rushing touchdowns, didn't he?
I think so, and he also had that like 50-yard. Oh, only one rushing touchdown, but he had like a 50-yard touchdown pass. He completed 9 passes.
Yeah, he had 2 bombs, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, exactly. It was like, if he's not completing a 50-yard pass, he's like worthless, but it doesn't really matter. Jaden Daniels scored a shit ton of points this week, and he couldn't pass the ball either. So Anthony Richardson looked good. Kamara looks good, but I don't know how much of that is Carolina. Mike Evans looked good. I mean, he's just always going to be good for the most part. Like, he's kind of can be up and down, but you're going up against Washington. That's going to happen. Diggs against Indy.
Yeah, that was the biggest surprise. Was Diggs.
Yeah.
He didn't have many yards, but 2 touchdowns is.
Yeah, if they're going to throw to him in the end zone, then
Yeah.
Either way, Austin had Tyreek. He's going to do his thing every week. Rashad's going to do his thing every week. Dak probably could have had a better game if the Browns could have kept it competitive. Najee does what Najee does. He did 20 carries for 70 yards, 3.5 yards per carry, but it doesn't matter. He's going to get 20 carries, which makes it almost impossible for him to score less than 8 points. Like, look at this. You can be ass and still get 8 points on 20 carries. Like, it's like I said it at the time. Austin got like such a safe second running back. He's not going to get hurt too. He's going to be healthy all season long because he never gets hurt. Like,
why? I thought the Steelers were planning on using Warren more. Like, he only had 2 carries. I just looked it up.
He was coming off an injury. Now that I say that, maybe Dave needs to watch out, because maybe that's going to switch a little bit. Remember, Jaylen Warren had like a hamstring injury, maybe. It was something like, it was an actually concerning injury in the preseason, and they didn't know if he was going to even play week 1, and then he did, surprisingly. So maybe that'll change a little bit, but Najee's still going to at least get 15 touches. Like, he just is, dude. Dave also was doubled up on Steelers, Najee and Pickens. That's an offense that, like, man, you really got to hope that the Steelers offense is better than what they showed on this past Sunday. Because, you're gonna need that. What were you gonna say though?
For his bench, I feel bad that he has Gus Edwards when Dobbins apparently is the number 1 guy there, and I feel like no one saw that coming. The dude with no ACL, no Achilles is now a good player. I mean, his speed isn't there. He's just
he was
situations.
He was looking. He ran out of gas on those runs. Dobbins did, but I mean,
the touchdowns. So
how did Dave end up with Cole Kmet again? Remember, he had him last year, and it was like a complete disaster. Remember how many times he would text us in the fantasy group chat and complain about it? I'm about to go back to last year's.
Hope he keeps him all year.
It was him last year, though, right?
Yeah, he definitely had him. I'm pretty sure.
I would have been better off just starting Cole Kmet weeks 1 through 3, the second coming of my dick and balls. Cole Kmet week 4 after I drop him. Prime Tony Gonzalez. I'm settling for Cole shit ass Kmet. Cole Kmet can gobble sack. These are all texts from Dave. So he started Cole Kmet. He was like the worst tight end ever. And then he dropped him. Cole Kmet did good. Dave picked him back up, started him again last year, and he started doing ass again.
I think he's just going to keep him all year.
He has him again. And I don't know. Maybe you can't start Cole Kmet weeks 1 through 3 because he has another ass game his first week.
He's got the formula.
Oh, man, that's so fucking funny. Either way, Steve taking this one convincingly. People are asking, has Dave lost his fantasy touch, Paul? He missed the playoffs last year. This year, he's off to a slow start, getting killed by a rival. Right, that feels like what he honestly right now. It's feeling a bit like the Patriots. they dominated the Bills for like 25 years, right? Well, I guess that's not fair because Steve definitely wasn't getting dominated by Dave, but
they ruled the West.
Yeah, I meant
Both of them.
I'm trying to think of like a team that was competitive and then like not, but we'll just use the Patriots as like an example of like, oh man, like the Patriots were like doing so good for so long, and then something changed, with losing Tom Brady basically, and it was like, damn, now they're getting killed by Dave's getting killed by Steve. Like that was supposed to be close matchups through and through. Like that's tough, but I have a feeling Dave has something up his sleeve. I'm just gonna say that right now.
Mm-hmm. Yep. We were clowning him for his draft. Well, I was sort of for Malik Neighbors, but he looked pretty good. Even though the Giants' offense looked horrible, Malik Neighbors might work out, but
yeah,
Dave's got to pick it up, and we know he can.
I'm gonna spoil a little bit coming up in the matchups. Not sure who Dave plays, but Malik Neighbors does go up against the Washington Commanders, Paul. So if there's any week for Malik Neighbors to go for like 150 and 2 touchdowns, it'd be this week. Like they're a disaster. Kyle plays Dewey, a close game like always, except for this time Kyle just ends up coming out on top, mainly carried by Joe Mixon and Ramondre Stevenson, surprisingly, which goes back to what I said. I think the Bengals might have the worst run defense in the NFL. A good win by Kyle, starting off 1-0. I feel like he always starts off 1-0. I don't know about you. I'm going back and looking at this. Paul almost always starts off 1-0. Nick almost always starts off 0-1. Gorman always starts off 1-0, I feel like. And Austin always starts off 0-1. I always start off 0-1. Steve and Dave, I feel like both start off 1-0 a lot. Kyle starts off 1-0 a lot. Dewey is, I don't know if I have a read on that. I think Ryan started 1-0 last year. He lost week 1 last year, right? To Mike.
Oh, yeah, from the Josh Allen piss class.
Okay, and then Mike also not sure. But Kyle is one of those people that I feel like always freaking starts off 1-0 every single season. And he does that same thing here. Dewey, piss class from Ferguson. Brock Bowers actually only had 8.8 points. I thought he did better than that, but I think I said when I was looking at Kyle's team, now Kyle's team has a wrench thrown into it because Puka is injured, which is a huge loss for him. Mm-hmm. But before the season started, I was like, if Brock Bowers is like a top 8 tight end or even like top 5, is Brock Bowers is good, basically, then Kyle doesn't have any holes in his team. Now, obviously, it looks like he may have a hole where Puka is, but he can probably just slide up Tank Dell and then put in fucking Tony Pollard in his flex. He'll probably be all right. I am worried about Ramondre just because I don't know if every defense is going to be as shit as the Bengals, but either way, you'd rather start off 1-0 than 0-1. I'm surprised Bijan had 14 points with how bad the Falcons did. CJ Stroud's going to be a pretty safe, like 18 points, I feel like, every week. Devontae didn't do great. Drake London, Paul. What are your thoughts on Drake London's performance? 2 points against Pittsburgh this week.
Well, now that Dewey said the smart, way of handling this is waiting a few weeks, not just panicking and selling. Because I was trying to catch him off guard. I talked some shop with Dewey and offered a trade or two for Drake London because I do believe in him. I do believe in the Falcons. Kirk Cousins will shake the rust off. They'll get back into it a little bit. So I'm a fan of him. That's why I was trying to trade for him. And Dewey's smart enough to hold on to him, so I'm kind of glad he, thought through it a little bit.
I was concerned with Kirk Cousins and how he looked. He actually had a lot of time to throw, and he just looked that bad.
Mm-hmm. I think it's just a little rust.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. You can't really overreact to week 1, but that
next week will be the telltale.
Yeah, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't happy I didn't draft Drake London at this point. Obviously, it probably isn't going to stay that way, and he's probably not going to be a total disaster. But yeah, we'll see. We actually have a guest in the room right now. Molly, do you want to come here and say hello to Footbap Nation?
Oh, if she denies, she's out of the top fans vote.
Say
what's
hi.
Up?
Hi guys.
Footbap.
Say Footbap Nation, let's ride.
Do I have to?
Yes.
Okay. No.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. She's out of. She can't. She's officially not a true bapper.
Mm-hmm.
Back to back to this matchup real quick. Waddle does his thing. Worried for Terry McLaurin.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean,
Daniels on Dewey's team, that is a good thing. Like you said,
that was such a good. Let me look at where he got Jaden Daniels. I said that in the draft recap. Remember, I was like, round 10, 3 rounds after Gorman got Caleb Williams is amazing. And looking back, I almost I don't know. Who knows what's going to happen with Rico Dowdle? Maybe he'll take over more of the backfield later on. He was fine. I feel like he played like half the snaps or maybe a little less compared to Zeke. But man, in that round 10, I really wanted to get Jaden Daniels because I had a vision in my head of like, if I have Jaden Daniels and Kyler Murray, like I can trade one for a piece if someone gets hurt. Damn, man. I really wish I had that now because either Dewey's going to be starting Jaden Daniels and, profiting, or he's going to be starting CJ Stroud and profiting. Because he's going to trade one of them. Yeah, whichever one he decides, he can just trade one of them and probably get like a good return on the investment there. So I think Dewey's in a good spot despite being 0-1 and Kyle 1-0, but in a tougher spot now because of Puka. So let's look last matchup here. Like we said, Ryan last year suffered a crushing defeat to Mike week 1 with a Josh Allen piss class on Monday night, I believe. He comes back and he smokes Mike, beats him by 30. Lamar puts up a 25 piece against KC, which opened up, it pretty much was over after Lamar scored 25, in my opinion. Because Kelsey got 4 on that game and Pacheco got 15, which is good, but not like amazing. So it felt like it was over after that. Either way, though, Ryan gets 26 points from the Bears defense, which is completely unprecedented. Devontae Smith books. He gets 12 points for him. Marvin Harrison actually gets Ryan basically 0 points, and he still puts up a 98 piece. Mostert gets 2 points. I mean, he got 51 points combined from Lamar and the Bears defense. And anytime you get 26 points from your defense, you're going to win. Wouldn't you agree with that, Paul? It's almost impossible to lose.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. I feel like there has to be a stat. Like, it's a 0.01% chance you'll lose after a 25-plus defense point performance.
And then that's Ryan's team. There's probably better days ahead for Marvin. Justin Jefferson's going to do what Justin Jefferson does. Worried for Mostert. Going to Mike's team, what do you think about Mike's team at this point, Paul?
I don't know. He could be in trouble, or it could just be, those week 1 score, stat lines we saw across the league. So it's weird
to try to decipher what's real and what's not at this point. So, like, if you're Mike, you might be freaking out a little bit. Zamir White did shit. Pittman did shit. Calvin Ridley didn't do much. Kelsey did shit. DeMarc did shit for his standards. But it can all turn around.
And he does have Zeke on his bench is a good player to have. So he'll get his touchdown every game, I feel like. So
yeah. So we'll have to see how everything shakes out. But let's check and see how ESPN thinks things are going to shake out. Last place, they still think me. 11th place is Mike. They actually dropped Mike from 8th place to 11th. 10th place is Austin. They dropped Austin 7th place to 10th. Dave, actually, despite losing, Dave moves up from the 10th spot to the 9th spot. The 8th spot belongs to Dewey. Dewey jumps up 3 spots from 11th to 8th. The 7th spot belongs to Nick. He actually dropped 4 spots, so the biggest dropper of the week, according to ESPN, is Nick. 6th place is Ryan, moves up 3 spots. 5th place is Gorman, moves up 1 spot. 4th place is Kyle. He moved back 2 spots. 3rd place is you, Paul. You dropped back 2 spots.
I don't understand that.
Yeah, that one doesn't really make sense, especially with Cooper Kupp and everything. It feels like ESPN would have been like, whoa, keep this guy at 1. But that leaves Steve at 2, and Chip jumps up 4 spots from 5th to 1st after that week 1, which is crazy. Big jump up for Chip. So they think I'm going to finish last and Chip's going to finish first. First of all, let's look and see if there's anything on the message board. Nope. We still have Mike. Yeah, okay. We're not going to look at that. Let's go to the recent activity. Let's check out the waiver wire pickups. Mike apparently changed everyone on his team to likely to trade.
Oh, I texted. Okay, so I've been, as you know, I've been talking shop with everyone. So as soon as I saw that, I was like, okay, Mike's gonna get some trades, and we'll, I'll text him. We'll see what's up. Let me pull up my phone because it was just, I think he trolled. I don't know if it was on purpose
he does
or
this
what.
every year. When his team has a bad game, he puts up everyone as likely to trade.
True. But then I said, what would it take for Pacheco or Jamar? And he said, I'm not listening to offers. I said, you made them likely to trade. He said, I made my entire team likely to trade. And I was like, yeah, so are you trading them? And he pretty much just blue-balled me into thinking he would trade his players when he really wouldn't. So,
bro, blue-balled you. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So everyone, false alarm for Mike. This is dirty play by Mike. He's just trying to get everyone's hopes up. Dave picks up Isaiah Likely for $16 and drops Jalen Wright. Let's see. I picked up Jeff Wilson Jr. in case Mostert and Achane are out. And then Kyle picks up Alexander Madison, which I think is a good pickup because he played more snaps than Zamir. So if that keeps up, then that's going to be a good pickup. Gorman picks up Alan Lazard. That could probably be a good pickup. I pick up the Chargers defense. Kyle picks up Wan'Dale Robinson. And Austin picks up Baker Mayfield, which hurts because I play Austin this week. And he lost Jordan Love and had Kirk Cousins. And I was like, is there any good quarterbacks on waivers? It was basically just Baker and then
maybe Fields.
Yeah.
If you want to test that, but I don't know.
So that was tough. But let's get into no big moves on the waiver wire. I guess $16 for Isaiah Likely, but I think Dave has Mark Andrews, right? So it's he kind of had to do that. I feel like, I don't know. Let's see if anyone else even put a bid on. Okay, so Austin put $3. Austin put $3. Okay, so that's tough. Nothing sucks more than that. But at the same time, if Isaiah Likely pans out, that's a good pickup. It's like last year when I put $20-something on Tank Dell. I feel like I put somewhere between 17 and maybe 27 on Tank Dell. I can't remember how much, and I don't think anyone else put anything on Tank Dell. And I was like, dude, I could have got him for free. But did I regret that at all? No, because Tank Dell was a top 5 receiver for me for the next 6 weeks. So if Isaiah Likely keeps playing good, you've got nothing to hang your head about. But that is always a tough scene when you look and you're like, no one else offered for this person? What the fuck, dude? I know Chip put $6 for Jeff Wilson Jr. and I put $7, so that was kind of crazy, but yeah.
Another thing I want to mention is Gorman. I feel like he never does waiver moves for the most part. And
he trusts his guys. I'm gonna be honest. We talk about the loyalty Ryan has to Algier. You have to Jerry Jeudy. Nick to Patrick Mahomes, etc. There's a ton of different things we can look at here. At this point, you know what I thought of, Paul?
Yeah.
Dude, I think that mine is Brandon Ayuk. I had him his rookie year. I think I've had him for every single year he's been in the NFL. And it's not planned. Agree. It just gets to that point. It'll just get to a point. I didn't even want him this year all that bad, but he was there, and I was like, "Fuck, I guess I'll take him." So I would say that the Brandon to Brandon relationship there, I'm holding on to that. But I thought that was interesting. But I think the strongest bond in the league by far is Gorman with every player he picks on draft day. He doesn't get rid of those motherfuckers. He sticks with his guys. He believes in his picks that he makes that first day. He doesn't look back. He trusts his guys. He throws them out there every week. And we saw it work once when he won in 2018 or 2019, whatever it was. It's a winning strategy, and he's been successful in a lot of years. So yeah, Gorman is a head coach that he's loyal to his guys. He trusts his guys. The work that he puts in the preseason, the packages he comes up with, the lineups that he constructs in his head, that's what he sticks with. He believes in his process. He doesn't waver from it. And I honestly think there's something really commendable about that.
I definitely agree. Another thing I would mention about that is just that this must mean that Alan Lazard is going to have a pop-off year. Because if Gorman spent his time to take him up off waivers for a good dollar amount, $5. That's a lot for Gorman's sake because he doesn't spend any. I feel like he's gonna do something big.
Yeah, Gorman is one of those. Like I said, he sticks with his guys. But you're right. If he sees something on the waiver wire that he's liking, and he picks it up, you almost know that's going to be a player that you're going to want on your team the rest of the season, because he spots those guys out. He's very loyal to his players. When he turns his back on anyone like that for a different player, he always has something up his sleeve. So everyone's got to watch out for Alan Lazard. Gorman may have just found himself a league winner. Now let's get into these matchups. I'm going to start from the bottom this time, and I might switch us off like every week where we start and go to, because I feel like in the years past, since this is my ESPN account, it always just starts with me. But let's maybe go start with like some lesser match. Let's start with whatever the highest blowout projection is, which actually is you versus Chip. You're projected to beat Chip 111-96. I would also like to say, folks, there is no one even above 103 points. Most people are at 100 or barely below it. 111 points. Like, this is the year of Paul. We're in a. Paul is gonna. I'm calling it right now. I know it's week 2. Paul is gonna be the second multi-year winner alongside me here.
Oh God!
Because I can't imagine a world, barring injury, he has the number 1 quarterback. He has 2 top 10 running backs. He has a potential top 5 wide receiver. He has a potential top 5 running back. If CMC keeps missing time, he has Jordan Mason. If that core stays healthy, who's beating that team, Paul? Genuinely tell me who would beat that team. You know that right now there's no chance that you don't win it all, barring injury.
Yeah, we can't forget, besides historic ass last year and the majority of my years before, I would always make the playoffs and then just choke week 1 or whatever that first matchup I had. So I feel like that's what this is leading up to. Someone's gonna crash and burn. I'll drag myself to the playoffs and lose week 1. So that's my prediction.
Either way, let's get into this matchup. You're projected to blow Chip out of the water, who Chip is the projected first place finisher per ESPN. We have Josh Allen versus Mahomes in this first matchup. I think both of them are going to be good this week. I think that's at least I would say Josh Allen scores 23 and Mahomes scores 18. Somewhat of a wash. Jonathan Taylor versus Devon Achane. If Achane plays, huge for Chip. If Achane doesn't play, very worried for Chip, because Chip already probably doesn't have Christian McCaffrey, which is a big loss for Chip right now. He's it's good that he has Jerome Ford in here, but man, you don't want to start Jerome Ford and like Jaleel McLaughlin, or like like that's not what you want to do here in such a big matchup. So, maybe Chip feels good about winning last week. He's going to punt it this week, and he's not going to really make any moves, but barring Chip making any moves, I don't see how he loses this. Paul, like I said, Josh Allen better than Mahomes. Jonathan Taylor equal to Devon Achane probably. / better than whoever he plays, because Achane might not play or be limited. Gibbs greater than Ford. Kupp greater than Rashee Rice. Jamison Williams greater than Ladd McConkey, but if you want to say even,
that's
whatever.
About even.
Yeah. Trey McBride greater than Evan Ingram, so Chip does have an advantage at tight end. But then Jordan Mason greater than Jaden Reed. Paul has the advantage at every position but tight end, essentially. Even all the way down to defense. I would rather have the Seahawks versus New England. So, Paul, you are in the driver's seat. Is there anything you're worried about this week from Chip's team? Anyone doing good, or your team doing bad? Any of your players? Is there anything that worries you about this matchup, or do you think you're cruising to an easy victory?
I don't want to say it's going to be easy. I think it'll be close. Do
you genuinely think that, or are you trying not to jinx yourself?
No. I really genuinely think it. I think it will be
Chip
close.
Doesn't have his first and second round picks if Achane doesn't play.
If Achane's out, yeah. I'll cruise to a victory with Achane out. But it could be Achane 20+ pointer, and then it's close again. So just got to wait and see what happens there.
All right. And so there's no one you're worried about. Who are you worried about on your team or Chip's team?
I'm worried about, for some reason, Jameson got hurt just announced that he was hurt. T. Higgins, if he plays, like if he actually is activated, I don't know what I'll do. I'll probably stick with Jameson anyway if he's healthy. So that'll be my toughest choices between those two if they're healthy.
Gotcha.
If not, I'll just stay like this. But my team also Evan Ingram. I hope they're playing the Browns. Fuck the Browns, man. Their season's done at this point. I give up after week 1, so I hope he does well.
Yeah, I said the same thing.
Real hope.
I said the same thing to Thrill House. I was like, wow, this is probably the quickest I've ever given up on the Browns. I mean, it doesn't matter. We have a shitty quarterback, so the Browns can't. The only thing you are aiming to do in the NFL is win a Super Bowl. We cannot win a Super Bowl because we have a shitty quarterback. That's not to mention that everything else looked like shit this weekend too. It wasn't just quarterback play, but everything was bad offensively. Everything. But either way, we have a shitty quarterback. You can't win a Super Bowl. So the season means nothing. You can't win a Super Bowl. Hopefully he fucking, hopefully we can somehow get out of his contract, but it's a fucking disaster, dude. Like it really is. The Browns season is over. I know people want to say I'm a pessimist, but like I'm just a realist. I'm being realistic. You can't convince yourself that the Browns can win a Super Bowl this year. And even if you want to convince yourself that like, hey, maybe we're going to have like fucking Jameis is going to come in and be Flacco and we're going to win 11 games. What did that get for us last year? We just lost in the first round. Can Jameis Winston win you a Super Bowl? No. There's nothing. The season is over. The Browns are dead. They're going back to the bottom of the AFC North for the next 10 years. At some point in the next year or two, they're going back to the bottom of the NFL. The Super Bowl experiment is over. There's no Super Bowl to be had. Dude, it's done.
Yeah, they wasted the fucking prime of Garrett, Chubb. Amari's getting older too.
Ward.
Ward and our O-line is getting older. Like, it's just like everyone's old or just turning to shit, like our quarterback play. So it's just they're fucked.
We were loaded. We were loaded, and still even like our aging loaded at this point. I mean, Nick Chubb's gone basically, so whatever. Like, but we were loaded for so long, and it just didn't even amount to anything. And that's the Cleveland curse. If Deshaun Watson would have went to Pittsburgh or Atlanta or Carolina, all those other places he was looking at, if he would have went to any of them, I guarantee you he would be at least okay. Cleveland is the only place where this worst case scenario could actually play out. So it's a bummer, but Brown season's fucking over. And Paul's going to beat shit by 30 this week. That's a Brandon guarantee. 30 points plus Paul wins by.
Damn.
We are going to look at the next biggest blowout projection. Looks like it's this: Steve 1-0 versus Gorman 0-1, or Mike 0-1. So Steve plays Mike this week. This is a decent rivalry here. Both West teams, longtime West teams. Let's see. Anything sticking out to you in this matchup right now?
Well, Mike's still. I'm guessing he hasn't changed his lineup yet. But he has Zamir White still in there against Baltimore, which is a little questionable. I mean, Pacheco did well because he's Pacheco, but it's Zamir White. So I feel like the Ravens will hold him to like 3 points at most, unless there's a lucky touchdown. So I'd definitely spot Zeke in there instead, because I feel like he'll get a touchdown no matter what.
I'm going to throw it out there right now. I said Cincinnati, worst rush defense in the NFL. I think that means a Pacheco 20-plus point game for Mike. So Mike should have that going for him. Carry on.
I'm just worried about his RB2 spot. So I really hope he does put Zeke in, and I don't know if that's his lineup or not. But I mean, I feel like 5 points. I feel like this should be closer, but deep down, I know that Steve's gonna probably win by 20.
Yeah, so. Steve's. He gets off to hot starts every year. Mike in a bit of a tough place. It's gonna come down to Zamir, Pittman, and Ridley. Really is like if he can get more than. If he can get 10 points from two of those guys, I think he's in a really good spot. But if he gets 5 points or less from all three of those guys, he could be fucked. I do think this is going to be. I do think this is going to be a decently fun matchup here. I do pick Steve to win this one though. If I had to
I
pick a
would.
winner,
If I have to guarantee a win, this is probably my guarantee of the week. I got to go with Steve on this, unfortunately.
it's not going to be you as the 20-point favorite over Chad.
I'm not for myself, not this year.
Okay. All right, another West Division rivalry. Kyle was a late addition to the Footbaps, but been in the West Coast division. I think he was in the East Coast to start, and then we had to switch things around. We're in the 12-man now. Either way, Dave taking on Kyle. Kyle is projected to win by 5 here. Let's see. Again, Kyle has Dave. I think Malik Neighbors could be in for a huge game. I think Dak could be in for a pretty big game. I think Najee could have a pretty good game against Denver. They had a really bad pass or run defense last year. Chiefs taking on Cincy. That's a low-key good defense matchup. I think the Bengals are kind of broken right now. But then Kyle has the Ravens against Vegas, so he's got a good matchup too. This game should be close and good. I actually think this game's going to be really good. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely closer than 5. I'd take Dave on the points here, no doubt. The plus 5.5.
I take
I don't
Dave.
know if he'll win, but
I can't. Yeah, I'm not bold enough to pick Dave to win. I'm not bold enough to pick either of them to win. I don't feel comfortable with that, but I would take the points with Dave. Plus 5. Plus 5.2 from Dave.
Yeah. Also, I mentioned this to you before, but me and Kyle's the one person to decline my trade. Everyone else just let it sit there. Kyle declined my trade of Christian Watson for Christian Kirk. So we'll see how that plays out. But
a little Christian for
glad.
Christian swap.
Yeah,
some would say.
But at least Kyle's paying attention. Everyone else leaving me hanging to dry. But also, Dave taking Isaiah Likely, I know it's like as a backup for Mark Andrews, but it's kind of funny. He takes him just pretty much so no one else can have him, is what I'm thinking.
I'm thinking that he's assuming Mark Andrews is going to get hurt. That's what I'm thinking. Which I wouldn't blame him. Like, I think that he was shell shocked after that Andrews performance, and I think he genuinely is like, in his head, he's like, maybe Likely is the guy, and maybe he will be. I don't know. We'll see what ends up happening there. But I think Dave and Kyle are in for a really good matchup there. I'm excited to see how that one plays out. We have Dewey versus Ryan. Ryan 1-0, Dewey 0-1.
Classic.
How many 1-0 versus 0-1? So we have a 1-0 versus 0-1, 1-0 versus 0-1, 1-0 versus 0-1, 1-0 versus 0-1, and then 1-1 or 1-0 versus 1-0. So a lot of 1-0 versus 0-1s here. Either way, Ryan versus Dewey. Dewey is projected to beat Ryan. Actually, is that surprising to you?
That is shocking because Ryan's team, I do like it. He's got Zach Moss.
Ryan's projected to finish second place, right? Per ESPN.
Yeah. Oh, fuck. Mostert's projected not to play. I didn't realize that.
Oh no, he's out.
He kind of sucked.
He's out. He got ruled out. That's why I picked up Jeff Wilson.
Oh, it's a Thursday game. That's why.
Yeah.
Damn. Oh, that's an O. I didn't realize there was no little tail on that thing. Thought it was a Q.
he got ruled out. Funny enough, I actually put a bid in for Jeff Wilson, not knowing that Mostert was out. Like, when I got him on my team, I was like, nice. And then I went on Twitter, and 30 minutes earlier, while I was in a meeting, it was like Mostert had been ruled out, and I was like, oh shit, what the fuck? But yeah, so he'll be missing Mostert. But let's be honest, Ryan was foaming at the mouth to put Zach Moss in that lineup.
Oh yeah,
he wanted to sneak Buddy in that lineup so bad. The former Ute, he loves Zach Moss.
Yep, I was in Discord with Ryan as we were watching Red Zone on Sunday, and every time they showed the highlights of Zach Moss, he was getting real hyped up. So I'm glad he's able to play him, and there's a reason behind it. So yeah, it'll be nice.
Definitely, for sure. Both lineups are looking good, though. I really think this is another super close matchup. Go ahead.
My bold prediction, Marvin, 20 points against the Rams, guaranteed.
Okay. I'm going to have a bold prediction here also to match your bold prediction. Let me just look at the matchups, see what's going on here. Why is Josh Jacobs questionable?
I don't know. I feel like they just throw it on random people.
Yeah, they do. I think, did that say back stiffness?
It's just limited. He still practiced.
Oh, back injury? Yeah, he's limited. That's all right. All right. Bold prediction. Oh my God, Ferguson is actually in Dewey's lineup. Is Dewey stupid?
When I realized Dewey didn't even put a bid on Isaiah Likely, I was like, okay, what? I thought he
That was
would.
crazy. Yeah, so Dewey is the one. Dewey lost Ferguson, and he didn't even put in a waiver wire pickup for
Ferguson
a tight end.
Apparently is just possible to play this week still, which is
we'll
shocking.
see.
I thought it was a bad injury.
Yeah, did you see the hit? Like I thought. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
he was against the Browns. Yeah, I thought that he like lost his knee.
Uh huh. Yeah.
All right. Bold prediction. Bold prediction here. Bijan Robinson is projected for 20 points against Philly. Bold prediction: he finishes with less than 7.
Ooh.
Just going to say bold. It right now. I know that doesn't bode well for Dewbag. I still think this is going to be a close matchup. But
what do we think for Drake London? Bounce back game or no?
Against Philly's pass defense, yes. I'm thinking London's going to catch 5 passes for 70 yards and a touchdown.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm feeling a comeback too.
All right. Can I have I just put a stat line out for that. Can you give me a projected Zach Moss stat line for Ryan against the Chiefs? Go. I'll show you what he did. I'll show you what he did last week.
All right.
I mean, they're always at least solid.
I feel like they're pretty good. Yeah. Oh, he had 9 carries last week. I feel like I'm gonna go under 10. I'm giving Zach Moss 7 points. He's gonna have 7 rushes for 40 yards and a long catch. One long catch that brings him up to that 7-point mark.
That's like close to a Jerome Ford stat line. If you just no, he'd have more carries, but like you know what I'm saying. Yeah. Okay, so do you have a pick between Dewey and Ryan, or do you think it's too close to call? Because I think it's too close to call. Ooh, you're leaning one way. No, you were leaning one way. Say us where you were leaning.
All right, I gotta say it. I'm going Dewey.
Oh, the Paul lean on Dewey. That's Paul's lean of the week. No. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do the guaranteed win of the week. We're gonna do the lean of the week, and then we're gonna do like an over under of the week. Like that's how we're gonna do at the end. We already went through all of these. We have Gorman versus Nick. This is another, again, Gorman 1-0 going against Nick 0-1. I
like Nick's team a lot.
Yeah, and Nick's team looks good. Is sad. It's very sad. Nick lost Njoku.
And he's still 103. Holy fuck, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, he's going to put Chigioco in. If he picked up fucking Isaiah Likely, it would have been projected 110. Same with you. So Nick's team is looking very good. Where did ESPN project Nick to finish? They dropped Nick from 3 to 7? That's crazy. ESPN is all over the place right now.
I feel like it's just because of injuries, maybe.
I'm looking at this matchup right now, and I'm going to say it right now. Nick is beating Gorman. Gorman is going to get 8 points from Caleb Williams. He's going to get, let's see, he's going to get...
also, he had a Mickey win a bit, so we can't really say he's 1-0.
The 80 to 7. Oh, so Gorman, the win doesn't count anymore in the Footbap records.
A little bit of a
Is that what we're saying? He's basically 0-1, you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
We'll say 0-0. It didn't count.
This is tough, but I think Nick wins this game. I think he gets a bounce back from Amon-Ra. I think he gets a somewhat bounce back from Burrow. Like, Burrow's not going to suck. I think he's going to get like 16 points at least. Debo with no CMC out. Debo's just going to get all those carries and shit. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm liking Nick's team this week. With Gorman, I'm worried about Metcalf. I'm worried about Amari. I'm worried about Dobbins. A little bit, not really, like going against Carolina, but I mean, like he only got 10 carries, and I'm worried about Caleb Williams. Like, yeah, this could be, and we have a defensive battle right now with the Jets against Tennessee is an awesome matchup, and Steelers against Denver. Like their defenses both might score 15 plus points.
Yeah, we got a great matchup here, and also, like. I think Nick's bench, as long as no one gets hurt, I do feel like Nick is a top 3 team.
No, yeah, Nick is definitely, man, if he just had a tight end, if he got likely,
I know.
I would say he's a solidified top 3.
Oh
Not
yeah.
having likely means, or not having a tight end right now means that like I'd have to look at all the rosters, which I'm not going to do. But he's at least close. I mean, this is a good team. Steve's got himself a squad. Gorman might be in trouble this week. East on East action here. And now for the last matchup of the day, a brotherly matchup. I got to set the schedule next year so that me and Austin play when Dewey and Nick do and shit. That'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah,
But
that'd be
I
sick.
take on Austin, the 0-0, 0-1 piss matchup already happening. We're both basically projected 98 to 99. So Austin's projected to beat me by 2 as it stands right now. Let's see. I already said earlier, Austin got Baker. I'm worried about that because I wanted him to play Kirk. Austin, Brees Hall against Tennessee. Brees should go off. James Cook against Miami. I think he'll have a good game. DJ Moore against Houston. I think Houston kind of doesn't have that good of a defense. I don't know, though. I think DJ Moore could have a good game. Vegas kind of sucks. Zay Flowers could have a good game. Dallas
Goddard's
Goddard.
not getting 8 points. That's for sure. I can guarantee that.
I don't know. He had 5 and he didn't do shit last week.
I hate that guy.
It's so funny. I had Goddard a couple of years ago, or maybe even like 3 years ago, and he was an awesome pick for me until he like broke his shoulder. It's crazy, like that. This is where we're at here. We'll see. They're projecting. I wonder why they're projecting Goddard so much, though. We'll have to see. I think Olave could have a bounce back from Dallas. I don't think he's going to get 2 points again. That's fucking crazy. I think the Browns D against Jags. That's a good matchup. ETN against Cleveland is scary. Walker questionable for me. And going against New England is scary. Kyler against the Rams. What's Kyler? Let's look at Stat Muse. All right. We're going to look up Kyler Murray game log versus Rams. All right. Has Kyler ever really had good games against the Rams? Oh, they're not going to show his rushing. That's lame.
Oh, damn.
And we can't really count games from 2019. So so we have him throwing. He's only thrown 1 total touchdown in his last 3 games against the Rams. And if we want to go back to 2021, he's thrown 3 in his last 5. So I have a feeling that Kyler is not going to have a good game this week, which sucks. Man, I'm in actual, like, really, really incredible danger of starting 0-2 right now. This is fucking scary. This sucks.
I feel like it's going to come down to Austin maybe making the right or wrong choice on his flex spots or whoever he wants to put in there.
Because he's got like 5 solid options. We'll have to see.
He's got some tough choices to make, so.
Yeah, agreed. I don't even know what the right one would be. Like, you know how sometimes you'll have people deciding between people and you're like, please put this person in, like, please. Yeah. This is like, I'm afraid of every single one of his options, to be honest.
Brian Robinson against the Giants, so I feel like that's a no-brainer. The Giants look so bad.
Yeah. What did Brian Robinson? How many carries did he get? 12. I think he's safe. I would be worried about Jaden Daniels like stealing touchdowns from him. Let's see.
True.
Let's see. How many was it his rookie year last year, or was it his rookie year the year before?
I think 2 years ago.
I think it was 2 years also.
Maybe.
So he's had good games against New York. That would it just comes down to if he wants to bench like Olave, Moore, Flowers, like guys that he drafted significantly higher. That's a tough call. I'm glad I'm not in Austin's position, but also not glad because I would rather have more good players than not good players. I think what it really comes down to is if Kenneth Walker plays for me or not. And if he doesn't play, then I don't have a chance to win.
Would you throw Chuba in or Jeffy?
I'll have to see like if Achane and Mostert are out, I might put Jeff in, but I don't think Achane's gonna be out. I don't know. It's tough. I have a day to decide. 24 hours to decide. We'll have to see what happens there. I still think if Kenneth Walker plays, it should be a close game at least, hopefully. And that's all we can hope for. All right, now we're gonna go to. First of all, Paul, your guaranteed win of the week. Who are you going with?
It was Steve over Mike. Sorry, Mike, but it's got to happen.
My guaranteed win of the week is going to be you over Chip. I don't know if that's cheating, and if it is, then I have 2 guarantees of the week. I don't think I can count Nick as my lean of the week because I firmly believe Nick and you are both going to win. So I have 2 guaranteed
Yeah,
wins.
Nick is my
week.
second lock as well.
Yeah, Paul and you, I think, are guaranteed wins. If I had to do my lean of the week, actually, you do your lean of the week first.
My lean was Dewey over Ryan.
Yes, that was your lean. Okay, my lean is gonna be. I think I'm gonna lean. Oh man, every other matchup. I'm gonna lean Steve over Gorman. I'm not, or Mike. I'm not fully. I'm not fully ready to say Steve's definitely gonna win like you are, but that's where I lean there. I think Steve has a good shot of winning that. And now, do you have a matchup or a team, any kind of over under on any of these games?
Oh, where's let's see. Who did I say I like? Well, Nick is gonna be like 110, so I can't do that. Who's the other one? I do like. It pains me to say it, but I mean Austin Steen. I feel like if he puts Ryan Robinson in, and his, I don't know. I'll go with Austin, I guess, over 100.
All right.
But yeah.
I'm gonna go with I mean, looking at Austin's team, I don't think I think I might start 0-2. Did I start 0-2 last year? No, I started.
Now she beat me.
Yeah, I started 1-0 somehow. I got some work to do. Kenneth Walker getting hurt is tough. Okay, my over under for this week that I'm gonna go with is, you know what? It's a high total, but a tie for a reason. Nick over 103.
All right.
I think he's going to put up like 130. I just have a really good feeling about him this week. I would do you, but 111 is, I don't know. 111 isn't even really that much too. That's the crazy part. It's like it's just the fact that last year was such a disaster points wise that like oh man, it's like scarring me.
Yeah, I feel like we always had like 110 was like an average for everybody.
Yeah, exactly. Like
120 was no big deal, but now 120 is like huge.
Yeah, when like last year and the last couple of years and stuff, like, well, I guess last year was the first year with 12 man. So 12 man last year, I feel like if you scored 90 plus, 90 is average in 12 man. It was last year. And then 100 was like you had an above average week. 110 was you had a good week. Anything above 110 was like really good, basically. This year, after that first week, I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know. Like this year feels like 80 points is average, and it's just been 1 week, so we'll see. But it's tough out here, man. We'll have to see if these offenses can turn it around. But Paul, do you have anything else to say or add before we sign off here?
If I'm trying to talk shop with you, don't ignore me. It hurts my feelings, but we're in for a real treat this week.
Yes, we are. Everyone get out there, talk shop with your fellow league mates, and Footbap Nation.
Let's ride.
Let's ride.